What's up? This is Marco, and we are at the end of an era. Yes, as you can see, I'm no longer in my apartment. Came back home for the summer, but in all seriousness, Jozy, Altidore, and Michael Bradley were left out of the U.S. men's national team pre-tournament squad, and it really looks like it's the end of them in the national team. They will probably go down as American icons. They both had mild success in Europe and were in the national team for basically an entire decade, probably longer. Both had very successful MLS careers and were the two most prominent players of a generation of MLS or of men's soccer players. So that's probably what their legacy will be, but the question is, what do I think of them? They were two of the most prominent players in the national team as I was growing up, and the young guys from when I was little are done now, and honestly, it was kind of time. I mean, both players only reached a certain level even during their prime, and I think it's about time their generation steps aside. To be completely honest, their careers reflect that of their generation as a whole. They were underachievers. It may sound harsh, but Altidore and Bradley, they both didn't get the most out of their talents. They were huge prospects in the MLS. Both had pretty big success in Holland or the Netherlands, and then had a move that didn't work out and crawled back to the MLS and what should have been their primes. I don't know, maybe they were complacent. I just feel like there wasn't a drive to improve themselves. I mean, Bradley was pretty decent at Roma, and even if it didn't work out, he could have taken a step downward a bit. I mean, we're seeing someone like a Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's staying in the English game, even if he's not going to work at Tottenham. Matt Miazga, he's staying in Europe, but these guys just decide to give up, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, complacency. Like, no drive to just improve themselves, satisfied with being second best in North America and without a drive to improve American soccer. Maybe this is just my perception. I don't know them personally, but that complacency was a big part of the disastrous 2018 campaign, where they both played the full 90 minutes against Trinidad. Honestly, I just feel like that whole generation was kind of just filled with less pride than other players. I mean, like, we've got guys like Sergiño Dest, who I don't even think he's ever lived in America, and he's just turns it up every time he plays in that national team shirt. But these guys, I just didn't feel that. Like, they weren't like the guys before them, Landon Donovan, DeMarcus Beasley, Dempsey, Tim Howard, where just Donovan was an MLS player. But when he pulled on that national team shirt, and I'm wearing the old one for a reason, but when he pulled on that national team shirt, like, he was different. Like, he should not be remembered like as fondly as he is just for his club career, but he is. Man, like, I feel like, and the current players, they just have more talent than the older generation. I mean, that's kind of natural as the sport grows. I'm not like a bigger, faster, stronger type guy. If you've heard my thoughts on basketball, you'd know that. But man, it was like something that you look at this team and like everybody's saying, man, we got a really good culture in this team now. It's like they're only saying that because it wasn't there before, and that's Bradley and Altidore's thing. Maybe there was just less pride. I mean, no matter how good they were going to be, unless they won a World Cup, they weren't going to be as big a name as a David Beckham. Or maybe their ego took a hit when guys like Jermaine Jones, Jonathan Brooks, Timothy Chandler, Fabian Johnson broke into the team without ever living in America. But whatever the case is, this generation underachieved and will be in the shadows of the one that came before it, and will hopefully be in the shadows of the one that came after it. I mean, just winning a couple of gold cups and reaching the knockout round of the World Cup doesn't cut it anymore, especially when that was largely off the backs of guys like Tim Howard and Clint Dempsey. His whole generation as a whole, like players born mid-'80s to early 90s, Bradley Altidore, Freddie Adu, Brad Guzan, Maurice Edu, like Alejandro Bedoya, like they're all players who made the jump to Europe, couldn't find much success, and came back to the MLS before their prime even ended. And even in their primes, it wasn't enough to get past the older generation. Tim Howard never passed the torch to Brad Guzan. Jozy Altidore never became the striker Clint Dempsey was, and Michael Bradley was never really looked at as the star of the team, even when he was captain. I mean, Clint Dempsey, Christian Pulisic, they were always bigger names than him. In my opinion, it was about time to move on from the generation. Probably the best time was in 2017, but, you know, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is right now. But even in their primes, personally, I never really rated them. I always never really liked Bradley, him being the coach's son and all. He was just frustrating to watch, never the most dangerous attacking player. He had made enough mistakes that you never really felt like he was one of the guys who could really control a game. And defensively suspect, especially late in his career. Altidore, it's not really like, I didn't really hate him. I just, like, he was basically a prospect for me until his career was over. Like he was a prospect who you're like, okay, this guy's good for a young player. He's good for a young player. And then after the Trinidad game, it's like, okay, he's old. Get him out. Like, he was never really like that guy for us. And he was never somebody you could like really say, Altidore's going to get us a goal today. I don't know. Yeah, just two frustrating players that could have been so much better, but I feel like they gave it up. Like the title, it's end of an era. I feel a bit bad because it's players who have been here for so long, but I think the feeling's going to be similar to what Manchester United fans feel when Phil Jones moves on. It's like, oh man, he was part of that really good squad. He's been here for so long, but yeah, it's time. They'll always have a place in history in American soccer. It just isn't going to be as big as the guys before them, and hopefully not as big as the guys after them. Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about with Jozy Altidore and Michael Bradley. I'm going to be taking them off of the list of players I'm looking to cover. Also going to be dropping Johnny Cardoso for now. He hasn't been playing at all, and he's not the national team at the moment, or the senior team at the moment. And I would have had it be news that he made the bench of his team, and it's like, okay, yeah, probably time to move on from him. Two goalkeepers, Odunze and Dos Santos, they'll stay on until the start of the next season in case something changes, like loan moves in the summer or something, but they're only on that because we're kind of thin at goalkeeper, especially in Europe. So on to, I was mostly covering that because it's a really slow news week. In Austria, Brendan Aronson picked up a brace as RB Salzburg lifted the title. Giovanni Reina came off the bench as Borussia Dortmund won the DFB Pokal. John Brooks, he's been continuing his great form for Wolfsburg. They can clinch a spot in the UEFA Champions League this week if results go their way. Brian Reynolds, he's continuing to get starts for Roma. DeAndre Yedlin made his return from injury. Tyler Adams picked up an injury, unfortunately. Hope that kept him out of the DFB Pokal final. Hopefully it won't keep him out of the Nations League or Gold Cup. Anthony Robinson got mathematically relegated for Fulham. And Caden Clark, the only player I'm talking about who isn't in the Provincial squad, I don't think I said that name right, picked up another goal. And he's been killing it. I think he's going to move to RB Leipzig soon. Looking forward to seeing him play. So for games coming up this week, you got Chelsea and Leicester in the FA Cup final on Saturday. Hopefully Pulisic can continue to help American players pick up trophies. Hopefully it isn't a repeat of last FA Cup final, though. Juventus and Inter Milan also play. That could be a good game for Weston McKennie. Sunday, Wolfsburg and RB Leipzig play. Tyler Adams, John Brooks go at it for Champions League spots. Monday, the championship playoff first leg start with Carter-Vickers and Bournemouth playing, and Daryl DK's Barnsley team playing. Tuesday, Chelsea play Leicester again. I swear they only play Man City and Leicester right now. Wednesday, Juventus and Atalanta play, and Thursday, the only game I could find was Belgium, where Genk and Anderlecht play. So maybe you get to see Mark McKenzie and Matt Miazga, or double M center backs in Belgium. MLS game of the week, I'd say Saturday night, Red Bull and Philadelphia. That's probably the best game. And the NWSL regular season starts Saturday. For the NCAA, Friday, there's the men's Final Four with Marshall still on their Cinderella run. Friday tonight, I should say. UNC, they're in it as well. Indiana, probably the team with the best American prospect. Victor Bereza, I want to say. I don't have his name down. And Pittsburgh. Both the men and women's final is Monday. Florida State will play Santa Clara in the women's final. Christina Roque, I hope I said that right, saved 3 penalties in a shootout, and she's a freshman. Maybe that's somebody to remember for the national team. Not even sure if she'll play in the American one. I think she's from Florida, but I saw she played for Puerto Rican youth teams, so not sure how that works. Also, Jillian Howe, and for Santa Clara, they are led by Kelsey Turnbow. Yes, that's everything in American soccer for this week. Yeah, I mean, Bradley and Altidore are gone. I mean, yeah, it was time. We'll miss them a bit. Yeah, that's it. See ya.